Hello, Star Wars Galaxy of Hero Places and Ordo. Today, I'm going to be doing some thoughts on some other quality of life updates that can be added to the game. Now, I do want to make a quick mention. Achievements moved from here to the quest tag. We all know this, so you just come in, lag. And then at the bottom, there's your quests. That's right there. But for the most part, there's another opening right here. My assumption for this, first off, is going to be probably the updates of mod management. They're probably going to have a mod management tag right here. Now, there is another management tag they have yet to add in. Of course, they could probably resize these characters' logo things, move them up to where you can fit a sixth one. And that one is, of course, I want to talk about is... I could probably do this battle. Squad management. We have to go into a battle, set up a battle just to do squad management. Come on, guys. Let's get us a squad management tab. That would be phenomenal. So, 2 tabs to add in is mod management and squad management. Characters. Of course, down the road, I am sure they'll have to move one of these out of here into another spot just for... it'd probably be a year or two from now to separate characters from light and dark, just because we'll start to get so many. And I'm sure they could probably do something with the allies and inbox to combine them together. Never hurts, so they could always do that. But just the thought of managing your squads is just huge. And you want to just go in. You don't have to select a battle. Ooh, 2 Night Sister teams. So tempting just to battle. But yeah, I like my team that I'm using. But just to battle or just to select a squad, you have to go in to go there, and it's just sad that we have to do that. So that's number one. That's one of the things I'm hoping they decide to do for quality of life this year round. That is one of the big ones I feel like is a great opportunity. 2, either in settings or game tips, add a game tips tab somewhere. Of course, before I go to talk about game tips, add the new energy right here. New energy would be perfect next to the other energy, so we can kind of see it on the main screen. Maybe condense these down a little bit, make it look better. But yeah, that's my thought on that. But going back to it though, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. I apologize for that. Oh, anyways, a tips menu for buffs and debuffs. That would be a phenomenal opportunity to have, is to be able to look at buffs and debuffs. One thought is buff debuff tips right here. Just throw it in the settings. It never hurts to do that. Just be out of the way. So you could go in and read up the read the buffs and read the debuffs and so on. It'd be, once you select it, kind of like chat settings, it pops this up. Or it'll be separated into buffs, debuffs, and then you can go in and it'll give you a menu of buffs and debuffs, what they do, how they work, etc., etc. This would also help new players coming in, so they could be like, oh yeah, and they could always add a little tutor in just to come in and say, hey, this is your buff debuff menu. So just wanted to let people know about that. Let's see, the next one, of course, the most common one that's talked about, chromium or bronzium packs. Obviously, let's add some more variants of bronzium packs, like chromium packs. All they have to do is add the times 4x and 8 open 4, open 8, or they can do an open 5, open 10. Boom, done and done. Game, set, match. You have now a way to open. Like, this takes a long time to open those packs, and sometimes I get to this area, this amount, and then I break it down to like 20 to 15 to even 10,000, and then I just let it build back up again over the week's period. The next part of the bronzium, so that's part 1 of bronzium. Part 2 is adding more characters, gear, better variety of gear, characters, and even, once we get to it, because you got gear in here, you also got training droids, you also got credits, But the amounts are just kind of like here, 1 star, 5 to 10. Like I understand maybe unlocking a updated version after so many levels, like say 25 or 35, something like that. We can get 6 to 7 star droids at that amount instead of 1 star. Like I know we get up 3 star, but that's 1 to 2. Why? Why 1 to 2 versus 5 to 10? Why not just do 5 to 10 on all of them? Let's see. Where's a credit amount? I want to show this. 300 to 1,000. That's how much you get. I think that should be the amount you get the first 10 to 15 levels. After that, that amount updates based on your level. I think you should be getting 5 to 30,000 or somewhere around there on the way up, instead of 300 to 1,000. It's just kind of saddening. And some of these pieces of gear, you own one, yeah. Some of these pieces of gear could be a amount of 1 to 5, 1 to 3, upgrading the gear. Now that's just the gear side of it. Character side of it, we could have so many more characters added into the game. I mean, not the game, the Bronzium packs that we've recently had added in the last year and a half even. And that would be characters like the Phoenix Squad. We can also add their ships in, a few ships here and there. I know in here, I think there is Biggs, I think it is. Yeah, Biggs. You can add his ship. You can add his ship, her ship. Whenever they add his ship into the game, eventually it could move here. His ship. Yeah. There's a bunch of ships that could be added in. Why are they not added in? That's my question. Some of the Rogue One characters could be added in. Let's see, Gar Saxon, Imperial Super Commando, their ship can be added in. Boba Fett's ship can be added in. Obviously, they won't add the shards. They already have a reason for not adding those shards in, but just adding more characters of variety so you can open more. So it makes this pack a little more exciting to open. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm excited to open any of these 4-star characters and even the 3-star characters just for the fact of turning it into currency, because a majority of these characters are already 7-star. They're literally 7-star. So, it would update the currency into going into the shard store. And voila, then I'd have currency for here. Another thing is, I would not mind seeing some of the stores a little bit more revamped from now. Like, don't get me wrong, I've loved the update to the shard store, minus the fact they don't do characters in here anymore. Characters in a couple of ships here and there. I was kind of disappointing on that. They took those out. Especially if you like here and there was a couple of times I needed a few extra shards of like the Darth Vader's tie, and that was where I was getting it from, was here, as well as the fleet store. But adding a few characters back into the store wouldn't be too bad. Maybe lowering the cost of Grievous and then adding a few more characters that would be ideal for a shard store, being shard store characters, be kind of cool, because then it would just give you a reason to go farm them. Like maybe moving, or even adding, not Wampa and Hermit Yoda, but like Imperial Probe Droid and Rolo over to the shard store. And then eventually, another 6 months down the road, they run these two over into here. That would be kind of cool, just to add, more variety, and then they can add other characters in these slots. It'd be kind of cool. Another thing with shard currency is currently, from what I've noticed, is simple shards, you only get 15 currency for it per 1 shard. I wouldn't mind seeing it amped up a little bit. I'm not saying like a huge amount, but like amping it up like maybe 5 on each of them. And I think the ships were like 20. So maybe doing it to where characters are, instead of 15, they go 20. Ships are 25. And then the capital ships, because I'm sure some people will start getting capital ships then, will be actually 30. So you get some more. It gives a reason to exchange those in. So yeah, that's another thing I feel like quality of life would really help this game out. Of course, so far we know this year we're getting mod management, so that's a good thing. The last thing I want to talk about is probably another one that's been talked about since the removal of the store on this, where you could trade gear in. So let's go look at a low level character, say like this one, and let's look at some of these. Look at that, 457. I have a ton of them. 755. These are horrible examples. Let me go to a. You're geared up a little bit. Yeah, but look at these. I have all these, and I don't need like 157 of these. There's some of them, like right here. Here we go. Here's an example. These are challenge gear. This is challenge gear. Of course, they could, but challenge gear. I am built up to 4,711. I would like to be able to exchange this for maybe other gear, or making a store to where you can also exchange. Of course, you'd also have to make sure you can ask, say, are you for sure you want to trade this in for this currency? This is, and then it may be annoying to, trade in, but at least it allows people to say it's not our fault if you actually traded your gear in. You just got to realize, here, this gear could be used for another character. So they would pop up a message saying all that kind of stuff. And if you say yes, sell, or trade in, you'll trade in for a new currency for maybe a new store. A new store that could amp up some character farming, especially since we've got tons of new characters coming out we have yet to add spots to. Of course, old spots would be Cantina, just all these different areas already. But these new characters, a lot of the times lately, have been only going to hard nodes. And hard nodes gets annoying. And I feel like after a year of hard node, I feel like a new store adding some of these hard node characters into the store, into a new store, would actually allow us to farm these characters a little faster, more convenient, especially players that are starting new today or new next month. They'll be able to at least have a decent speed of farming some of these older characters that have been out for a year or so. Like Wampa and Hermit Yoda, that's a different story. But like, let's look at Darth Nihilus, for example. Scroll down to my Nihilus. So let's see where we can find Nihilus. Tick tock, tick tock. Nihilus is right now on, other than unless you want to pay, 9A hard mode. Or hard node. And of course, I will say one amazing thing I'm glad they did was taking this battle from 3 to 5. Thank you for that. That was phenomenal. I know a lot of people actually like the 5 to 8. I would not see a problem with that because it allows characters to be farmed just a little bit faster, but it's not going to make it to where everyone's going to have a 7-star character, 17 7-star characters in 1 month, unless they're buying. That's a different story if they're buying. But at least they would be able to farm some of these characters at a little bit faster rate instead of taking 3 to 6 to 7 months to farm them. But having a new store would allow for some new gear to be farmed, some or harder to get gear to be farmed a little bit better. Like Carbontes is still a big one. Stun guns, stun cuffs, those kind of things could pop up in there. Probably not at the high amounts of 5 and 6, but like 2 to 4, 3 to, or no, more 3 to 5 range, and then they'd have different currencies and they'd randomize. That's fine because like the fleet store kind of randomizes a lot. The guild event store randomizes a ton. But at least also having this new store would allow for a ton more characters to be added in, easier access to farming, because usually I think if done right, it takes at least about a month and a half or so to farm one character if you're consistent at it. I could be wrong on the numbers, but I apologize if I am. But about a month and a half to get unlock the character and then get them all the way to 7-star. So having another store for some of these characters that take so long just because they're on hard nodes or these high-end Cantina nodes, let's go to 8. It costs 16 Cantina, and Cantina refreshes at about 12 minutes you get 1 energy. So Cantina energy is really expensive. I know the new fleet battles is going to be helping a little bit. Of course, I feel like they're going to save the super duper awesome ones for these tiers. I have yet to work on any of these. Of course, they could have added a ton more battles to these lower tiers. That would be nice, even with the light side, dark side battles. So, but going back to it though, I apologize, kind of going off a little bit. Um, the having a new store just to throw exchange, having a spot to where you exchange your extra, not extra characters, but extra gear in for currency, just so you can, get some more characters. Maybe even have more chances of getting credit amounts. Maybe even mods. Have like 3 rows where they bounce between 5 dot mods. Of course, this spot opens up when you're 85. But 5 dot mods only are in this spot, and they randomize all the time, or 6 slots instead of what they do in this one where it's 4 and 5. But like just having like 2 rows, one of each of the type, and it would just randomize all the time, and it would just be a certain currency based on the cost of the mod. So it just gives us a little bit more mod access as well. And then you'd have like maybe a row or 2 of gear, and then like, man, I was doing so good there. So row or 2 of mods, row or 2 of gear, and then like the rest of the rows would be characters, like 2 to 5 rows of characters and ships. So it gives more access to ships. So that if they ever decide to do a month where they decide to release 10 characters and 10 ships, like an A-wing pilot, A-wing, B-wing pilot, B-wing, Y-wing pilot, Y-wing, that kind of thing, they would be able to just throw all of them in these slots, and then you'd have a good way to farm these characters. So, but that's my thoughts on the idea of some quality of life updates. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with these? Do you disagree? What are your quality of life interests for this game? But so far, for the most part, I feel like this game is coming together really, really well, especially with the recent quality of life updates that have come out. I know it's taken them a while, but they're finally figuring out the mod management. So I'm excited for that, but I just hope they add these other quality of life updates eventually and soon. So again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and you guys have a wonderful day.